Dear students, this video is on class 10, chapter 15, part 1, our environment. In the previous video, we have started the same chapter, but that was on old syllabus and it is on new syllabus. Only few topics are different from the old syllabus, so you can go from this video, that is new syllabus. So let us start. We have heard the word environment often being used on the television, in newspapers and by people around us. So the word environment, it is very common word. We can use this word by very common people, and also it is used by television and it is used in newspaper, etc. Our elders tell us that the environment is not what it is used to be earlier. So some elder people say that whatever the environment we are getting today, this environment is not the environment which we get in earlier. That means there is a lot of changes in the environment nowadays. Others say that we should work in a healthy environment. Some people are saying that we should work in a healthy environment, and global summit involving the developed and developing countries are regularly held to discuss environmental issues. And there is a lot of global summit which are held only to discuss the environmental issues. In this chapter, we shall be studying how various components in the environment interact with each other and how we impact the environment. So in this chapter, we will discuss different components of environment and also the interaction of these components among one another. So next topic is ecosystem. What are its components? So first of all, what is ecosystem? Let us see. All organisms such as plants, animals, microorganisms and human beings as well as the physical surroundings interact with each other and maintain a balance in nature. So in the environment, we have seen that there are a lot of organisms. It may be plants, animals and microorganisms and also humans. All are interact with each other and maintain a balance in the nature. All the interacting organisms in an area together with the non-living constituents of the environment form an ecosystem. So this will be the definition of ecosystem, that all the living organism and the non-living constituent interacting with each other to form an ecosystem. So that means ecosystem has three things. Number one, a living part, a non-living part, and third one is the interaction. That means there must be interaction between the living and the non-living constituent in the environment to form an ecosystem. Thus, an ecosystem consists of biotic components comprising living organisms and abiotic components comprising physical factors like temperature, rainfall, wind, soil and minerals. So there are two main components in the ecosystem. One is biotic components, another is abiotic components. Biotic components means the living things and abiotic components means the non-living things. So in living things you can add all the animals and plants as well as microorganisms including human, and in abiotic components it may be all other factors like soil, temperature, wind, water, etc. So these are the abiotic parts of the ecosystem. For example, if you visit a garden, you will find different plants such as grasses, trees, flower bearing plants like rose, jasmine, sunflower and animals like frogs, insects and birds. So if we visit in a garden, we will see that there are different types of plants. It may be grass, trees or some flowering plants like jasmine, sunflower, etc. and also some different kinds of animals like frogs, insects, birds, etc. All these living organisms interact with each other and their growth, reproduction and other activities are affected by the abiotic components of ecosystem. So if we take the example grasses, So grasses require water, soil, air, etc. So this is a living things. Grasses is a living things and it requires water and it will get from the soil. So soil, water, these are the abiotic components. So in this way the living things directly interact with the abiotic components. So as for example birds. So again birds, it requires food item. So food, it depends on plants and also some insect. So this again require water, air, that is oxygen. So again it should depends on the abiotic components or biotic components. That means whether it is living things or non-living things, all are interact with each other in the environment. All these living organisms interact with each other and their growth, reproduction and other activities are affected by the abiotic components of ecosystem. So the growth, reproduction and other activities are affected by the abiotic components. So a garden is an ecosystem. So you can give one example of ecosystem as garden. Other types of ecosystems are forests, ponds and lakes. So these are also example of ecosystem, that is forests, ponds and lakes. These are very much important for board exam. These are natural ecosystem, while gardens and crop fields are human made or artificial ecosystem. So from here we can say that there are two types of ecosystem. One is natural ecosystem, another is artificial ecosystem or man-made ecosystem. So here the definition including their example is very much important. Natural ecosystem means the ecosystem which we get from the nature. Similarly, we can get the garden, crop field, aquarium. These are the examples of ecosystem. These are made by human being. That is why these are called artificial ecosystem or human made ecosystem. So activity 15.1, you might have seen an aquarium. Let us try to design one. What are the things that we need to keep in mind when we create an aquarium? The fish would need a free space for swimming, water, oxygen and food. So suppose we want to make one aquarium. So aquarium, it is an artificial ecosystem. So to make it, what are the things we should keep in mind? Number one, there must be a free space so that the fish can move here and there. Number two, water must be there, oxygen should be there and food to eat by the fish should be there. So we can provide oxygen through an oxygen pump. So how can we give the oxygen? By pumping the oxygen by aerator. So aerator means it is a machine which can pump oxygen, and fish food which is available in the market. So we can provide food by buying from the market. If we add a few aquatic plants and animals, it can become a self-sustaining system. So if we add some aquatic plants and animals, it will become a self-sustaining system. What do you mean by self-sustaining system? That means it will continue by themselves. No need to supply any food or any other substances for their continuation. Can you think how this happens? An aquarium is an example of a human made ecosystem. So this is one example of artificial ecosystem or human made ecosystem. Can we leave the aquarium as such after we set it up? Can we leave the aquarium after setting? Why does it have to be cleaned once in a while? So we cannot leave the aquarium after setting up because we have to clean the aquarium time to time. Do you have to clean ponds or lakes in the same manner? Why or why not? But ponds, lakes we should not clean time to time. But an aquarium, since it is made by human being and there is no microorganism to decompose the dead microorganism or dead plants and animals, therefore we should clean the aquarium time to time. We have seen in earlier classes that organisms can be grouped as producers, consumers and decomposers according to the manner in which they obtain their sustenance from the environment. So already you know that what is called producer, consumers and decomposers. So producer means the living things which can produce their own food. Consumer, which depends on producer. Decomposers means the organism which can decompose all the living thing or non-living thing. So in this category, in decomposers, microorganisms are included in this category. Let us recall what we have learned through the self-sustaining ecosystem created by us above. So what is self-sustaining ecosystem? We will discuss in detail this self-sustaining ecosystem. Which organisms can make organic compounds like sugar and starch from inorganic substances using the radiant energy of the sun in presence of chlorophyll. So that means sugar or starch, these are the two different forms of carbohydrate, that means food. Here it is talking about the food, that means who can produce the food. So all green plants and bacteria can produce food by using inorganic substances. Inorganic substances means minerals, water, etc. and also sunlight. Radiant means sunlight from sun and in presence of chlorophyll. So all green plants and certain bacteria which can produce food by photosynthesis come under this category and are called the producers. So producers means the living things which can produce their own food by using inorganic substances in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Organisms depend on the producers either directly or indirectly for their sustenance. So some animals are there, all animals are there, all animals depends on the producers. These organisms which consume the food produced either directly from producers or indirectly by feeding on other consumers are the consumers. So what is consumers? Consumers means the organism which depends on plants directly or indirectly, or also it can depends on other consumers also. So we will take example, then we will clear about it. Consumers can be classed variously as herbivores, carnivores, omnivores and parasites. So there are 4 categories of consumers. Number 1 is herbivores. Herbivores means the animals which lives on herb. Carnivores, flesh eating animals are called carnivores, already you got in class 7. Omnivores, that means those animals which depends on both carnivore and herbivore. Parasite means the animals which lives on other animals but without killing that animals. Can you give examples for each of these categories of consumers? So yes, we can give one example of herbivore means goat, buffalo, cow. Carnivore means flesh eating animal, that is tiger, lion, etc. Omnivore example human being, fox, crow, etc. Parasite means some microorganism and fungi are parasites. Imagine the situation where you do not clean the aquarium and some fish and plants have died. Suppose in aquarium we are not cleaning time to time and some of the fish and plants died. What will happen? Have you ever thought what happens when an organism dies? The microorganism comprising bacteria and fungi break down the dead remains and waste products of organisms. So if the plants and animals in the aquarium dies, then the fungi and bacteria will break down the dead remains and waste products. These microorganisms are the decomposers as they break down the complex organic substances into simple inorganic substances that go into the soil and are used up once more by the plants. So due to the microorganism, this dead body will be decomposed and break down the complex organic substances into simple inorganic substances, and this inorganic substances again used up by the plants once more. What will happen to the garbage and dead animals and plants in their absence? So if there is no microorganism, so what will happen to the dead animals and plants in the absence of this microorganism, and also the garbage which is produced in our kitchen? Will the natural replenishment of the soil take place even if decomposers are not there? No, without the decomposers, natural replenishment is not possible. So this is all about today's class. Thank you.